So number 9 for me, Tom Brady.
I can see it.
Didn't make my list because I'm an idiot.
I mean, if Tim wants to use the argument of he thinks the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl next year, and that qualifies Lamar at being number 2 on his list, then I think Brady could most definitely win the Super Bowl again next year.
Yeah. I think it's a very defensible position.
Even if this is only a 2-year play, sometimes in fantasy football, we talk about, hey, it's not just the player that you draft being in that one spot. Like you don't draft Christian McCaffrey, he's running back 1. He's running back 1 on your team. So running back 1 is kind of, an amalgamation of both running back spots that you have to have. And who's your replacement for those? Can you replace that person well? You give me 2 great years of Brady and then 2 years of whoever the hell they signed. I'll take that quarterback, and that's Brady.
Okay, that's an interesting angle. What on a 1-year list? Like he's in my top 5.
Okay, what if it was a 2-year list?
Yeah, I think
I can't see past. I can't even see it past next year. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it past 2015.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm gonna give him this year. I'm if we did the 1-year list, he would rank so high for next year. But that's about as much as I give.
Tampa
the second
could very well win the Super Bowl.
The second you go multi-years, he does not make my list.
He was close. He was very close to making the list. I get the case
because
he's got all the weapons. He's
still
but
again, it's not Tom Brady on Tampa Bay. It's just Tom Brady.
Yeah, I agree.
Want Tom Brady if he doesn't have the weapons, right? Because we saw him in New England in 2019 without weapons, and he played badly. Tom is one of those quarterbacks where if you don't equip him with the right guys, he's kind of not worth having because he is unlike all the other QBs that are probably on the list where he doesn't have any mobility. So you really do need to equip him with the right sorts of players. And Tampa is a perfect example of you give him the guys that can maximize the skill set that he still has at his age. And he's a great option. If you threw him in Detroit, if I was the Lions, he wouldn't be on my list because what am I doing with him?
Well, but that's not the practice of this list. I actually think with Detroit, he would be fine. I think that as we found out this year, that when you looked at the options he had in New England, they were just the worst in the league, maybe?
Yeah, but that's why he played so badly last
year. Sure, but then you put Cam into that situation, and he's also the absolute nut-low quarterback.
Well, Cam played well, then he gets sick.
I think that there's a difference between having the best and having the worst, that if you just give him median, I still think he would be really good.
Oh, sure. No, I agree with that. But I do think it's a bit context dependent. That's why I left him off the list.
Brady, I think if you gave anyone basically the Patriots receiving core from the past 2 years, they'd probably be pretty terrible. Minus like Mahomes.
Brady, before last year, was the best football player ever to me. And he went to a level this year that's like in my head that takes him beyond football. Like a John Lennon, Jesus type, Michael Jordan.
So he's on the Tiger, Jordan.
Yeah, and he probably should have been there before last year. But
the Federer one's really interesting because Nadal and Djokovic are so good too. So does that enhance Federer's case or detract? Because those guys, like, is the tennis argument that those 3 guys are 3 of like the 5 best players of all time? Or is it that tennis just got really weak after 3 guys, and that's why they ended up winning?
I don't even know that tennis got weak, but there was a gap that could never be
like Andy
closed.
Murray is probably like
Murray was in there occasionally.
Yeah, but how many Grand Slams did Murray end up with? Like 3,
1 or 2 maybe.
Yeah,
and a gold medal didn't he win because it was in England and whatever.
I'll look that up.
Federer won the gold medal with Ranka in doubles. I think he didn't win in baby.
No, and you should say Brady even before last year should have been on that list, but he was always
3 Grand Slams.
He was always the best quarterback ever to me, but he just stratosphered. It's crazy what that, I don't want to get into it, but it's crazy after how successful he was with that one Super Bowl did to his legacy for a guy like me who already thought he was the best.